Here's a list of 10 legendary rulers who died in battle. Some you may know, others you may not. Starting first, in no particular order, Harold Godwinson, the last Anglo-Saxon king of England. Harold Godwinson, or Harold II, ruled for just 9 months before his death at the Battle of Hastings in 1066. After defeating a Viking invasion at Stamford Bridge, he rushed south to face William of Normandy. Despite holding strong defensive ground, Harold was killed, famously, though debatably, by an arrow to the eye, ending Anglo-Saxon rule in England. His death allowed William the Conqueror to take the English throne, ushering in the Norman era. Harold was the last English king to die in battle on home soil, and his fall became a turning point in British history. Up next, William the Conqueror. After defeating Harold at Hastings, William the Conqueror became the first Norman king of England, but his death came decades later in 1087 during a campaign in northern France. While sacking the town of Mantes, William was thrown forward against the saddle of his horse, causing fatal internal injuries. He died weeks later in Rouen, far from the battlefield but clearly a casualty of war. His funeral was notoriously undignified, his body reportedly ruptured during burial. Even in death, the conqueror's legacy was as brutal as his rise to power. At third, we have Leonidas I. King Leonidas of Sparta became immortalized for his last stand at Thermopylae in 480 BCE, facing a massive Persian army under Xerxes I. Leonidas and his 300 Spartans, alongside a few thousand Greek allies, held a narrow pass for 3 days when betrayal exposed their flank. Leonidas chose to fight to the death. He was killed alongside his men, and the Persians desecrated his body. His sacrifice became a rallying point for Greek unity and one of the greatest stories of battlefield heroism in history. At fourth, we have Archidamus III, another Spartan king. Archidamus III reigned during Sparta's declining years. In 338 BCE, he led a force to southern Italy in support of Greek allies fighting the Lucanians, a local tribe threatening the city of Tarentum. During the Battle of Manduria, Archidamus was killed, making him one of the few Spartan kings to die in foreign lands. His death symbolized both Sparta's fading influence and the warrior spirit that defined its kings. Up next, we have Brian Boru. Brian Boru, High King of Ireland, was a unifying figure in a fragmented land. After years of consolidating power, he faced a coalition of Leinstermen and Norsemen from Dublin at the Battle of Clontarf in 1014. Although his forces won, Brian was killed in his tent by retreating Viking mercenaries. His death effectively ended Norse political influence in Ireland, and he remains a symbol of Irish resilience and kingship. At number 6, John, King of Bohemia. Despite being blind, John of Luxembourg, King of Bohemia, insisted on joining the Battle of Crécy in 1346, fighting alongside the French against England in the 100 Years' War. He ordered his knights to tie their horses together so he could charge with them into battle. He was killed in the fighting, and his bravery impressed even his enemies. His motto, Ich dien, which translates to I serve, still appears on the coat of arms of the Prince of Wales today. Up next, Murad I. Murad I, Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, expanded Ottoman control deep into the Balkans. At the Battle of Kosovo in 1389, he led his army against the Serbian-led coalition in a bloody and pivotal clash. Though the Ottomans held the field, Murad was assassinated after the battle, reportedly by a Serbian noble who had infiltrated the camp. He became the only Ottoman sultan to die on the battlefield. He was buried near the site in Kosovo, where a memorial still stands. Next on the list, we have Richard III, the last Plantagenet king of England. Richard III died at the Battle of Bosworth Field in 1485, fighting to hold his crown against Henry Tudor. Unseated and surrounded, he fought to the end, becoming the last English monarch to die in combat. His death ended the Wars of the Roses and brought in the Tudor dynasty. Over 500 years later, his remains were found beneath a parking lot in Leicester, his spine curved from scoliosis, but his battlefield wounds still visible. Suleiman the Magnificent features next on our list. Sultan Suleiman I ruled the Ottoman Empire for 46 years, overseeing its golden age. In 1566, during a siege on the fortress of Sigetvar in Hungary, he died suddenly, likely from a heart attack or aneurysm. While in his war tent, his death was kept secret for weeks to maintain morale. His internal organs were buried on site, while his body was returned to Istanbul. Even in death, Suleiman remained a symbol of Ottoman ambition and strength. Last on the list, and for good reason, is Charles XII of Sweden. Known as the Warrior King, Charles XII ruled Sweden through constant warfare. In 1718, during a campaign to conquer Norway, he laid siege to the fortress at Halden. While inspecting trenches, Charles was shot in the head, likely by a musket ball, and was killed instantly. He was just 36, often called the last European monarch to die in battle. I hope you understand why he features last on this list. His death ended Sweden's era as a major power. These rulers led from the front and died doing it. Whether through bold last stands or ambushes, their deaths became turning points in history.